What's going on, and welcome to the Stick Drift Podcast, a podcast for all things cars, racing games, motorsports, and more. Yes, welcome back to the second episode of the year of the Stick Drift Podcast. Josh, I've got a question for you. It's the second episode. I've got a bit of a riddle. I've got a riddle to lay upon your feet here, Josh.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. Now, would you tell me a 6-letter word? It starts in N. It ends in R.
Yeah.
If you require another clue, I can let you know it is a race.
New York.
New York doesn't end in R.
Begins with an N.
It is indeed NASCAR.
That's
Nothing NASCAR related in the podcast episode. I saw that on a YouTube short, and God, Americans are they will just like hard dive in with the implied word, like whoa. Bloody the whitest of Americans too. But yes, welcome back. And it was slightly car themed, so it made sense to talk about it here, you know. Whoa.
I see you did that.
Exactly, because NASCAR and it's racing. Yes, because this is the biggest podcast of the year.
What is it? January the 22nd.
Yes, as of January the 22nd, we have won best podcast of the year, simply due to the fact that from Autoblog, Jeep wins European Car of the Year, but you can't. But you can't. The brand,
you can't buy
right?
it yet. It was January 15th.
January 15th.
And it's a Jeep.
It's a Jeep winning European Car of the Year. Therefore, you know what? I believe that we have already won the Oscar for best. What's something like movie podcast? Just something like that makes no sense.
Just best podcast overall.
Just best podcast. Yes. What even is this article? What is their justification for something like this?
It's the Peugeot you probably want. You know the Vauxhall Mocha, the SUV.
Yeah.
It's the Vauxhall E-Mocha with a Jeep body on top.
That thing's basically the Corsa but big, right?
It's the Peugeot 2008, whatever it is, which is also the Citroen C4.
Yeah.
So it's just the Citroen CE4, or whatever they call it.
Oh,
but it's got a Jeep body.
So so it kind of makes a bit more sense because this Jeep, the Jeep EV, it actually isn't in the US market at all. But is it even in the European market yet?
Well, why would you buy the Jeep version? Because the issue is no one has Jeep brand loyalty over here. No one, Jeep, yes, Jeep. But it's like $5,000 more expensive than the CE4, than the 3008E, than the Vauxhall Mocha E. Why would you buy the Jeep?
Like the only thing adjacent, like anyone who would want to buy a Jeep would just go with like a Range Rover.
It also has much less range. It's about as aerodynamic as humanly possible.
Like the Jeep crowd is the Range Rover crowd here, I'd say, and then they'll go with a Range Rover instead, right?
Yeah.
God, it's terrible. They're all old. No, I say old. God, I'm 20, but like they're mostly like 30s and above.
The average school vehicle is obviously what a Range Rover. This is like kind of similar.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really, is it? 'Cause it's the same platform as a Citroen and a Peugeot. Like, who buys those?
We looked at it before, right? The Range Rovers are really weird because the cheaper ones look 10 times better than the more expensive ones.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. It was like over a year that we were looking at it.
It was like, what, 23,000 Evoque versus like a £140,000 Evoque. And it's the 23-year-old one looks better. Like,
it looks like, and especially now that they're all rounded. Like, have you seen how disgusting the rounded Jeeps look?
The new Discos aren't too bad.
The egg Jeeps are the ones I'm talking about. Not the egg Jeeps, sorry, the egg Range Rovers is what I'm talking about. The Range Rover New, that real egg design. It's so.
The one in Forza.
Yeah, I assume so.
That's the Land Rover Discovery.
On your screen, but I'll whack it here.
That just looks like the normal one, but more round. Like it.
Yeah, but I don't like that more roundedness.
I,
Oh,
Jaguar Land Rover.
no,
on
that
that
isn't
way.
it from the back. Oh, that's disgusting. It's got like thin.
Why
the
is it so
thin
big?
lights. Oh, well, that's just a Range Rover. It might be the American version.
It has to be like the long wheelbase version. There's no
Yeah.
way it's that big here.
But I guess that makes a bit more sense for the Jeep winning. Well, not winning, as if it's. Well, okay, so the Jeep Avenger has been named European Car of the Year for 2023, but it's not on sale. But it's not on sale in the US. Those feel.
It's not on sale here yet. It's
Yeah.
still pre-order.
It's Jeep's first fully electric car and surprisingly small for an SUV. At 13 foot. That seems
I don't have it's roughly 30 centimeters.
foot's
What's
like
that?
I want to say like I don't know actually. No, I have no
It's
idea.
around 4 meters long, which isn't
13.4
awful.
foot. So 0.4 is like a
Cheers.
little bit extra, you know. It's
If
whatever.
it's 30 centimeters, it's 3.9. I imagine it's a bit extra, so it's probably like
Yeah.
4.2.
Yeah, I mean,
meters long.
for a Jeep bike, I mean, it doesn't look big, but it doesn't look American sized, like the Escalades
Well,
and
no,
stuff
because
like
it's
that.
such a C4.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Which I guess
It's not
it's
a Jeep.
like it's
Nothing
a lot
about
better.
it is Jeep.
Which makes it a lot better for the European market, which it really is. It feels European, I guess, given the EV, given the
I
smaller
can imagine
size.
it's only going to be on sale for a few years because no one's going to buy them.
I mean, it's nice that they've got an EV, right? I wonder if partially it's not in the US because of what is the is it Q testing? I don't know. No. Like
Well, it's
gauging the
built on a
response.
platform they don't have in the US, so I'd
Well,
assume it's not
oh,
past
yeah, that
the
too,
US safety
right.
regs.
That I assume they'd have to either import or make a factory there or adjust a factory to make those wheelbases. And what's it called? I wonder if partially they couldn't justify it because they might. What if they went to people and were like, "What do you think of when we say Jeep? Now, what do you think of when we say EV?" And they're all just like, "Oh, that's not in my America. I got the freedom to use petrol or whatever they use."
I think they still do Jeeps with like 6-liter V8s in the US.
Exactly,
so,
right?
I mean, that ain't gonna
I wonder
sell
if
very well.
partially it was that they gauged the market and no one would buy an EV Jeep, right? Because I feel like that would be part of it.
Yeah.
And then we've got Jeep CEO Christian Muner thinks it's too compact for the North American market. Oh, so it's
Yeah,
too
that's
small.
small. Calm
for
down.
Like it's apparently it's too small of a
The
car.
C4 is massive. Like,
It's too small of a car for the US market. Like
it's not a small car though in the slightest.
exactly. That's funny. That's funny.
It's like saying an Accord's a too small a car for the US bike. You're like, what?
It's like, oh god, like I get America's cars are big, but too small for the US market. That's brilliant, actually. That's brilliant. That's
But it has no range as well, basically, because it's built on a platform designed for more aerodynamic vehicles, and they've just stuck a wedge on the front of it. And like, here you go, yeah. It
So-
might go 200 miles.
So, like I said, there's quote no real market potential in North America for SUVs as small as the Avenger. Oh, so not even EV; it's just a small SUV. Jeep CEO Christian Muner told Tech Church. This is from the Autoblog article that I'm reading.
The Buick's a Vauxhall, the older Vauxhall Mocha, which is on this platform. It's
You know-
the same size as the Buick like, XT4, whatever it's called, XT4 or whatever it is, I don't know.
Maybe it really just is the American, right? Maybe it just is that, like, you know, like, oh, what do you think of when we say Jeep and they just say like big and burly?
I just don't
whatever,
think
right?
it passes past any of the standards they need over there.
I mean,
'cause
that
it's
too, I
no
assume.
smaller than the Buick compacts they have.
America's
over
got like a size minimum too. They've got like a
Yeah.
your car needs to be at least 3 meters wide and at least 7 meters long. That's the American
But that's
standard.
an awful excuse because they get the GR Corolla, which is a small car. They get the Buicks. They get the.
I mean, yeah, because they've got smaller SUVs, but I guess maybe people just... Oh, yeah, because he says there's not a market at all, which that just isn't
It's not
the
true.
case. Well, maybe. Well, he does say fully electric. That small, fully electric. But like, what would that change, right? What like in the grand
It's not
scheme of
going to
it?
sell
Like,
over here. I can guarantee you that much.
yeah, exactly.
No one's paying a price premium for a brand they have no care about.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Range Rover come out with their own SUV, because I mean that's the only direct competitor I could think of, right?
It's not even close to. It's competing with its own like
yeah, it'd
amalgamations.
be with its the other
ECU4,
right?
the 3008E, and the Mach-E. Like it's.
Can I just say the Wrangler never belonged on streets. Sure, take it like off road, but the Wrangler is a bad car.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it looks terrible. I'm seeing here on
Yeah, like
research thing.
1984, and it was never updated.
Oh, but tell you what, we got caught up in this in the intro. So yeah, this week on the Stick Drift podcast, welcome back, boys. What has been going on in the automotive industry over the last week? Well, simple things like the Porsche 911 gets a facelift, and guess what? It's still a Porsche.
Dude,
Other
no,
stuff.
it's the Porsche 911.
Exactly.
Ooh.
What? BMW to recall 14,000 iX-i4s, i7 EVs over a high voltage battery issue.
Hopefully they scrap them.
So the i7 we talked about the other day. This one looks to me like the iX.
The iX is a crime.
And the i4 I don't really know much about. Yeah, this one looks disgusting. The iX, that is. Mercedes AMG SL63 Motorsport Collector's Edition revealed with epic paint. Whatever that means.
It looks grey.
I mean, again, we've seen the test versions of the AMG this one, and it really is like it really is just the cockpit slowly moving forward, and it's getting to normal sports car shape as opposed to the clown shoe design with the long front.
That's the Mercedes AMG. This is just the SL line.
Oh, okay. So this is
because they've got a brilliant name. This is the normal car.
Oh, okay. So
the ones that depreciate like a rock and are like $5,000.
Yeah. The more bigger news that we will be getting onto. The Nissan GT-R gets a reveal version for 2023. It's
a facelift.
And I think like the front looks slightly different, but we'll get onto that.
It just looks like it's got a different paint and a spoiler.
Yeah. I noticed like this grill thing at the front looks different. The bottom side grills. An absolute monstrosity from who is this? Mercedes, I want to say. Oh, is it Lexus? What's the logo at the front?
Lexus RZ Sport Concept.
I'm talking about the Vision, the Mercedes Vision EQ.
Oh, that
XX.
is equally bad. Yeah.
It's got like what the front reminds me of is if they made a modernized James Bond Aston Martin. What's that? The DB5?
The front doesn't really concern me. Why does it look like a Speedtail in the back?
It's got the Speedtail design, which, okay, hear me out, right? I get people's cope is, it's aerodynamic. It's aerodynamic, actually. Did you know that? It's aerodynamic. It looks ugly. I don't like it.
Well, the Hyundai, the Kia EV6, I think it's that, and the Hyundai Ioniq 6 have a 0.2 drag coefficient. And it doesn't look like this.
It's just
so you can make something aerodynamic without it looking like it's a Speedtail knockoff.
Yeah, like it's just so odd. I don't want to see it anywhere. This like that looks until you get to the back, it looks like a overly modernized DB5. Am I wrong in that?
Yeah,
like, am I crazy?
It kind of does.
Or yeah, it's got like that similar shape to it. But and then because it's got the overly modern, like the one strip light going across as a whole light kind of thing. It's honestly, if it had a sportier looking rear, it might not be, or just a better looking rear at this point, it might not be as overall stinky looking if it didn't have the goofy rear. Like, what is that splitter? You seeing the splitter there? It's got like a, it's being held up by two like poles. On top of that, we have got obviously the Jeep thing that we talked about. Porsche is preparing to launch another low-volume heritage variant of the 911. So what did they do recently? The GT, is that something like the GT3?
This isn't GT3. It's not got a spoiler.
This
This
is
is just.
so this is a different like heritage.
This
But
is just going to be an addition.
Yeah, okay. But was the GT3 not like a heritage edition or whatever?
GT3 is like the touring car class.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, like the
They do a
GT3 RS is the
GT4
one
as well.
I know, right? That's
Yeah.
the. I used to have a little.
They do a
I used to have a little toy
GT3,
car.
a GT4.
Yeah. I want to say that was like
And
my
the turbo.
main. That was my main favorite toy car growing up. Was I had a little orange Porsche 911 GT3 RS. That thing was sweet. I had a bunch of cars before that, but like I had that thing, and that thing was really cool.
It looks the same as like a normal 911 turbo.
I mean, from the back, it's I forget which one it is. Cayman. It's Cayman from the back is what it is what it looks like.
It's a Porsche.
It's
It's going to cost you way too much.
Revealed the first hybrid Corvette, which we will be getting onto, the E-Ray, which I don't know. It's like hybrid. Making a hybrid nowadays just feels so very dated. Am I wrong?
They're way too late. Way too late.
Yeah. I feel like the hybrid craze was so like the trifecta or whatever.
They need
What was
to
the
make a
name?
last gen hybrid and then a fully EV for this model, but they just have, especially for the price, not worth it.
Yeah. And like what? Because it was the golden trio, the trifecta, the hybrid tripod, the three cars, the
Honestly, the three Amigos.
918 LaFerrari and the
P1.
yeah, the golden triplets or whatever they were called. That thing. The Ioniq 5 has made it to consumers with a 6, right? Yeah, I forget that. A couple of spotted cars. Big news in the world of the Aventador. Lamborghini with big news. Some questionable,
Disappointing news.
and some interesting to say the least. Oh god,
The rear is
GTA.
terrible.
It's straight out of GTA, like it really is.
Like, there's no way those headlights can be that low legally. Like, why?
Speaking of, well, what's this last thing? Oh, that's the spot last spot. So you know what? Why not this? Because it leads on to what we were talking about. A smaller American car, and that is Chevrolet. From Autoblog, General Motors reportedly considering a small electric pickup. So what they're competing with at the moment is the Rivian, as you mentioned when I was talking about this before, and the F-150's one, which I want to say the Rivian is decently sized. The F-150's American sized, right?
The Rivian's about F-150 size, I'm pretty sure.
Is it? Okay, so...
But they're both like 100 grand.
Yeah. So I mean, price must be a big thing. Because for making it smaller, right? Because they'd want to undercut Chevy. And
apparently,
Rivian.
it's smaller than a Ford Maverick, according to them.
So Ford Maverick, how big is a Ford Maverick?
It's the large pickup we get over here.
Oh yeah, that thing.
So
yeah.
it's the things that look like F-150s that aren't that we get over here. Mavericks, it's about that size.
If this is true. But unlike Montana, the model that Automotive News got to look at had 2 doors, a low roofline, a 4x4, and a half-foot cargo. Okay, whatever. And yet unnamed pickup. Right. The yet unnamed pickup would be marketed as an affordable EV with a base price pegged at under $30,000. If it actually makes it to market at under $30,000 for an EV...
range.
Pickup?
The only way they can save money is on the battery. Like, what is the range going to be? It doesn't look very aerodynamic.
Well, I guess you'd be paying for that, right? I don't believe it says the range anywhere.
It's probably far away from development.
Yeah, so that's what their goal is, though, which would be very, very interesting, because to make the money back on R&D... they'd have to sell a lot. They'd have to sell a lot to make...
I'd assume that's why they're lowering the price as much as they are.
Yeah. But then obviously there's always a balance there, right? Lowering the price, you also make less money. so you really got to sell more. So hopefully they either go
It's
heavy in
GM.
on
They'll
marketing,
use this
right?
platform for like 4 million different vehicles.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah. Then like long term overall, it would make back the money, I suppose.
Well,
But
at least they make back the R&D.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it depends how much R&D is in the automotive industry, right? I can imagine
At least one.
like they'd have to at least a penny, I reckon. You know, just like at
Yeah.
least one penny. But in other news this week, so back up at the top, not too much, I suppose. The sort of more newer things with this GTR. So the new GTR gets existent. As there's not a lot
The
much.
new GTR is a bold way to describe it. It's a GTR they've changed somehow,
It's got a
but I
cooler
can't
spoiler,
really
I guess.
tell.
I noticed the fact is like the pinstriped areas look different. It's a different body kit basically.
Yeah.
But I remember, I think we were talking about this when this was first in the news feed. These images are from Autocar, and it's odd that they haven't moved on yet. That they
The
haven't
R36
like.
will have to be fully electric now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's basically condemned the R35 to be the last petrol powered GTR.
It's odd that they haven't. I assume.
And I'm so amazed they didn't go with like a last petrol like glory model. They're like the R36 was like a ultra powerful like last hurrah basically, but no, we get this.
Carry on one sec.
It's what the R35 launched in 2007. It just doesn't really have like I don't even think you can buy it in most of Europe anymore. So it's basically for the US. I think this one is for Japan only. If on the press launch it was to be believed, because it had like Japanese market only thing. So if this is for the Japanese market only, sure, I guess, but like it's not anything special. It makes like what 5 horsepower, and it has a body kit. Probably comes in like one exclusive color, but like. Especially for the price. They were like 140 grand last time I checked. Get anything else. Like, you can get a used Murcielago for that. Like, it's...
The GTR.
For what they are, for how much they depreciate, not worth it.
Well, GTRs.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't they crashed in price as well? The original few ones, like
First gens are like 30 grand.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, like 07 sort of. I think it came out in 07, but yeah, like 07 to 09. So
Well, that's crazy. How long has
worthless.
this car been like going?
I'm like, that's
Jesus
what I mean.
Christ.
I'm amazed they still make it.
Yeah. Which surely they must be waiting for like a big last hurrah moment.
They can't. Way too late.
Yeah, well, because if R36 EV, that'll be cool, I guess, right?
If Corvette are making a hybrid, it's way too late for an R36.
The fact Corvette are doing a hybrid, it feels so odd. It feels so late. In fact, let's jump onto that, right? Like, it's odd that it is. Hybrids just aren't the thing anymore, right? It's like, sure,
It's
but
so
it's just
odd,
that, like,
and
people...
especially at the price point it is at.
It is America's Ferrari, though. You do got to remember that Corvette is America's Ferrari, Josh. Now,
I did forget that, unfortunately.
you can't forget that the Corvette is, of course, America's Ferrari.
It's just...
So, revealed Corvette E-Ray, the first ever hybrid Corvette with a 6.2-litre V8 and electric motor.
Kind of defeats the point of being hybrid.
So it's got an electric motor and then a 6.2-litre V8.
More emissions than the entire Vauxhall dealership put together. Like,
God, that's brilliant, actually. You know what? That reminds me of the... there's a person who you always order 2 steaks just to know that whatever vegan isn't ordering a steak, you've cancelled out their work against the environment. It's that thing, except it's doing it to itself. It's got the EV and then it's got the 2 steaks cancelling out the EV.
like you gotta think, guys. 6.2 liters of V8. It only makes 600 horsepower. It's 100 horsepower per liter,
So yeah,
not including the hybrid
horsepower.
part of it.
Exactly, right? Like, I mean, they haven't really changed the design too much either. It just, like, has the The very bottom at the front is all I can sort of make out. But it's just sort of like, yeah, so the 0 to 60 of 2.5 seconds, 655 horsepower, and the price is
Starts at
104,000
104.
plus.
Basic
So,
options takes up to 122.
yeah.
And that's not even top spec.
I mean, that's what we pay for America's Ferrari. I mean, this is America's Ferrari. God, that is shocking, actually.
It's almost R8 money.
Yeah. But it's just like...
What would you rather?
I mean, probably an EV at this rate. That'll at least last me longer. Like, I don't...
That's Taken. The Taken starts at a lower price
You
than
could
this.
get a Taken, and... that would be more justifiable than getting something like this,
Turbo
right?
4S, not the Taken 4S, not the Turbo S. I think it's 113.
Yeah.
That would be as you've chosen this in some like mid-range options, and you've already got to that. Like I don't get the point.
They seem so late to the party. Which, I mean, I guess Toyota hasn't even bothered yet. So I guess we're the EVs. I mean, neither have Chevrolet. Have Chevrolet done any kind of Corvette?
We don't get them over here, so I have no idea.
But do they do any kind of EV?
They probably make SUVs.
I assume so.
I think American brands in general aren't really fans of making EVs.
Is Chevrolet one of the ones that owns everyone, or is owned by someone who owns everyone?
Owned by GM.
Oh, okay, yeah. I assume GM has an EV somewhere. I'm sure,
do. They own.
Yeah, I'm sure
a load of people.
Somewhere there's an EV in all of that. So yeah,
it's America. They don't want.
Is it that the market just doesn't want EVs in America? I mean, with the whole
you're saying this while looking
right?
at a car that has a 6.2 liter V8. No, they don't want them.
with the like not having unified charging ports as well.
You remember
right?
there was that like minivan thing that I saw. And I was like, oh, that looks remotely interesting. Like, how much does it cost? And it was ridiculously expensive. And the base engine option was a 3.2 liter V6 as the base model. Like, it's Jesus Christ.
It's odd. America has their own Ferrari at least.
And they make no power. Like, you get the same power of a 4-cylinder, like the V6s they use, but it's big V6.
So before we go on to the new news on the like news, it's like they call it that because it's new. Ooh. Get it? Whoa. The news on the Aventador, the Ioniq 6, which we have talked about a fair bit on the podcast. Almost. Has finally hit the market, and from Autocar, the review is bloody
I gave it 4 stars.
4 stars. What are Autocar saying about the car?
They like it.
I mean, clearly, yeah. Which I can't get past the goofy shape of it. I'm iffy on the shape.
It's meant to be as aerodynamic as possible. It's just...
I guess, yeah. See? You can be aerodynamic
that's what I mean.
It
has a 0.2 drag coefficient, which is ridiculously low.
I mean, for a car of... what's its price range? Is it expensive?
46.
The consumer buying it, are they really good? Like, a car that looks like that, I don't think you buy for the... I don't think you buy for the speeds, right? Is it just me, or does it looks dated by default? I think it's because it's a really unique...
It's an old concept, though. Like,
is it? That makes sense.
It's like a 3 or 4 year old concept.
Oh, God.
It's another one of those concepts they actually made into a car. It was just an oldish concept, wasn't it?
I mean, it looks pretty polished and pristine, I suppose. It's not an old car, but, like, if it looked slightly more dated... I want to say like 2010s is what it looks like, if not earlier.
You haven't seen a 2010s Hyundai.
Oh, I'm sure. But isolated outside of Hyundai, I think like it looks like if you just replace the badge with like a no-name brand. To me, it just looks dated already.
I mean, the interior is nice, I guess.
Oh yeah, I guess the interior would be right. Yeah, the interior looks kind of nice. Oh, disorientating. Look, driving on the right side. Ew. God, it's got
it has a 5-second 0 to 60 with the 4-wheel drive version. So,
I mean, the back looks kind of interesting, I guess.
It's just a car.
Yeah, I mean so what is it competing with? Answer to the Tesla Model 3.
Tesla Model 3
releases electric car. Is this the new Tesla? What? Is this the new? This is the new Tesla.
And the Polestar 2 apparently.
Oh, okay. What's the Polestar 2 and why are they competing with it?
I've never seen one before, so
it's like a big wagon. I don't know.
Is it American?
It's like an American
sized... Yeah, that's what I'd expect an American sedan to look like.
What?
Yeah.
Like that's a sedan? Like
it's a sedan. It looks like an SUV, but someone's lobbed the roof off. Like
yeah, I don't. It's like someone like squished it as an SUV. It's like someone's like sat on the top. Like I don't.
Yeah,
What is it supposed to be? But why is the Ioniq 6 doesn't look anything like that? How's it competing with it? Huh? Maybe price range.
Well, I've never seen one of those. I don't even think they're sold anywhere. So yeah.
Also, I don't think the Polestar rear works too well with
I have seen these
design.
Before.
Oh yeah. I don't like how the rear works there. It's
like
the rear lights being connected at the bottom feels like that should be a lot lower than it is. So it just it's bad design from the back. They're also very boxy. I mean, it's cool that Polestar exists, right? They were Volvo, and then now they're their own thing, I guess. And
I'd assume they're still partly owned by Volvo. There's no way they'll let that go fully.
They've probably got, I assume they've got partial ownership, right? But I've seen noticeably more Polestars recently. I don't know if it's one of those things where when something comes up, you notice it more, but I've noticed more Polestars.
EV6 is rear-wheel drive for the base model, which is cool, I guess.
What, for the Polestar or for this thing?
The Ioniq.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Can't wait for the low battery single motor version, 1.8 tons.
Yeah. But you know what? The Ioniq 6. I can't stop. Tell you what, this thing being now in the review stage, presumably now making it to the consumers, it means that it's just a step in the road to the Concept 70 something being also making its way to the to actually existing. So I will
it's gonna be a little while away.
It's still clearly it's still gonna be a while away if this is used as example. But at least this means, if I bookmarked the tab by mistake, at least this means that it can happen. A Hyundai Concept can proven make it directly to market.
Yeah.
And I'll take that. So from that, I would say, Josh, probably the biggest news of the week. On the 20th, was that even this week? Okay, right, yeah. We missed a week. I was busy. My bad. We're back, though. Don't even worry about it. So, we have gotten some big news in the world of Lamborghini. And that is because not only has the replacement for the Aventador, so if you don't remember, the Aventador, back last year when we started our podcast, it was one of the first to go. Joining the cancellation graveyard was the Lamborghini Aventador on, I believe, the second week of the podcast. And the Lamborghini Aventador got its final variant shipped out, and the whole model, the model had concluded, and Lamborghini was moving on to, we could assume, intended bigger and better things. And what has happened recently, given in this week...
From that statement.
This week, we have gotten not only images, but schematics, all to do with the brand new Lamborghini Aventador replacement in EV mode. Now, the exact wording in the headline is EV mode. And that is this thing here, spotted from the back, allegedly, I don't know if it's in this image, but during testing, breaking down is what I heard.
I know a Corvette broke down. I didn't have one of these break down.
It was something to do with something somewhere. But yes.
A Corvette with 52 miles imploded, but I don't know what
did it? Yeah. So here is the look at it from the back, and the thing is, do you know what? The main Lamborghinis, the popular ones, I want to say to a degree, they were the simpler ones. The Hurricane,
I can
the
see these
Gallardo.
depreciating like a
Yeah.
rock.
Like the
Like it
Hurricane,
just doesn't have.
the Gallardo, the Hurricane, the Urus, the simpler design ones, those are the ones that like sell the most and whatever, right? And then you get ones like the Sesto Elemento, right? And the what is it? What's the other one? The Forza cover car one? The
My internet just got out for a solid 30 seconds, so I might use that something interesting.
what's the Forza cover car one?
Centenario,
The
Centenario, however you pronounce
Centenario,
it.
the Centenario, the Sesto Elemento, those more wild and wacky ones, they don't end up being the flagship ones, right? Like, what were the flagship? The Aventador, the Gallardo, the Hurricane, those are the three ones that I know. Yeah, the Murcielago, and then now I guess the Urus, right? The all of the more simpler design ones are the ones that worked. They sold, they were more mass-produced. This one it feels so much closer to their goofy designs, like the Sesto Elemento, like the Centenario. And, I mean, you may say, you know, well, shit, you could barely tell in this image. The whole damn schematic for the car has leaked as well. The article that I was looking at just now was from Road and Track. This is from Car Buzz. The full schematics of the car. And again, like I say, it's one of the goofy Lamborghini's shapes. Like, it's one of those more the wild and wacky ones. And, I mean, from the front, it's very Hurricane. Am I crazy to say the front is very, very Hurricane?
It just looks like a Lamborghini from modern times.
Yeah. Because because the Aventador was pretty comparatively long-fronted. This one's got the bigger slope that the Hurricane has.
Yeah.
But from the back, it goes straight to like, one of the wild, more concept, if anything, Lamborghini styles. It's which again is it's just like I feel like those ones get tacky quick, right? Like the Hurricane had some staying power, I want to say. Given when
the Aventador was a popular variant of the thing. If they're going to try and sell this in as many units as the Hurricane, I just don't see it working.
Yeah, I think because it's so goofy to that level, it's the more conceptual design, right? I can't, like, the jagged whatever.
You've also got to think, it's
Angular.
a hybrid. Yeah. How much does a replacement battery pack cost in a Lamborghini?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because of its goofy design, I just don't think it's gonna be as picked up, right? It just, I mean, I don't know, right? How much does the Sesto sell? How much does the Centenario sell? I assume they sell enough.
With the Sesto they made like 4 of them, and the Cento they made like I think 6.
Yeah,
and they were both track only.
Yeah, this looks like one of those ones that would be. That would like that would be one of the selling like 3 of them, right? But the fact that we've seen it testing, I mean, maybe they test one of the really expensive ones too, right? But in my head, I wouldn't see them.
It's the replacement for the Aventador, so it's gonna be like.
It must be one of the mass-produced ones.
Sub-Urus price, like 280.
Yeah, well, cheaper than a Urus.
The Aventador wasn't pretty sure. It started like 285.
Expensive.
I'd assume this might go up to 300, but I
didn't know the Urus was that expensive. I mean, I assume if they start at 300,
the top spec
like,
Urus is. I don't know what the base model Urus is like.
I assume if they start at 300, it can die down to like 260.
Oh, they'll go down to 80s within 5 years. Guarantee it.
It's just like maybe it needs to be colored in, right? Maybe it needs to be colored in, and maybe that's what I'm missing. But even in the image here, it's got that real tacky design to where it's got all the jaggedness and the angularness, and again, maybe it's better when it's actually not spotted while spotted, right? It's not got the livery
apparently
on
it has a full EV mode, like Toyota.
yeah.
Which Sure.
I assume it'll get a big marketing push, right? Because new Aventador, right? So I assume it'll be in the video games, and it'll be driving around LA and everything, right? So,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, it's Italy, right? It's nice of them to be moving towards an EV, given the fact that they have their like 7-year extension on gas guzzling production cars.
I'm amazed they're even trying to make a
Yeah,
hybrid,
exactly,
to be
right?
honest.
They've got so long, like, why bother now? You
They're
know?
basically immune to it, like
Yeah.
to the emissions.
You know what? It might just be like a just in case. Just so like if one politician comes in and just decides, actually no, Lamborghini, we're putting you out of business now.
I don't see anyone buying one of these over like a 2-year-old Huracan. I just don't...
Again, the Huracan is just so much more. What's the word I'm looking for, man? It's so much more versatile because it's a simpler design. Because it's the Lamborghini.
Huracan
Same
will
with
be
the
cheaper.
Aventador. Yeah.
A lot cheaper to fix when something goes wrong, because I can't even imagine this is going to have like 8 million
this is newer
electronics
technology,
that, being
right?
European, are going to explode.
Yeah. It's
No, exactly a company known for their reliability.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be nice to see it do well. I hope it looks better than I think
I hope it
looks.
doesn't do well. Doesn't
I mean,
deserve to.
again, like a hybrid. I mean, this one switches between, so that's cool, I guess, right? So
Yeah, cool, like
sure.
a base model Toyota hybrid doesn't do that.
Yeah, but again, hybrids, like we were talking about with the Corvette hybrid, it's just kind of weird that it's like the bloody get with the program and just make them EV now, right? Like, who cares?
I got the last part of that sentence. So.
Good damn it. It wouldn't be a stick drift podcast without technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Sky doesn't want this to happen.
It's like, you know what? The podcast has changed us, right? We scoff at the idea of an EV at the start of the podcast, and now it's like if a company's doing something, it's just make it EV already. I think we've really come to realize what's happened to the car industry now with this podcast. That like it just kind of has to be EV. You just kind of have to cope.
There isn't a market for, especially a car like this.
Oh yeah.
They have the weight of an EV. With the weight of a petrol version on top of it. Like, there's no weight saving.
It might get away with just if it looks polished enough, right? I think that its design could look...
It's so heavy, though.
Yeah. But if it looks polished enough, which I think it will, especially that, like, just cruising around the streets of LA, right? I think because it's just Lambo's first hybrid, it might get a pass on that. I think their second attempt at it, that is a bigger likelihood to flop or not. Because this is the first one, I think it is going to be like...
You've got to think, no one is going to, like, it's not going to be a good track car because it's going to weigh like 4 metric tons.
God, imagine the value it would lose if you put it on a track for like 1 lap. Like just like pelting it around a track.
Like a rock anyway. It's like these will be the new Gallardos in like 10 years. I just don't see it. No one's going to buy them as investments because they're not going to be worth anything. Because the batteries will just disintegrate sitting there.
They don't have the Gallardo look is the issue as well, though, right? They don't have that simple look. Like, the Gallardo looks like, I mean, maybe it's like a retrospective, right? But the Gallardo looks like the cheap Lambo, right? This, I feel like if this, but I think the Gallardo is the cheap Lambo.
It doesn't look like a cheap one, yeah.
This one, if the Gallardo is the cheap Lambo, but it's like kind of fine. I feel like if this becomes the cheap Lambo, it'll be a shit ton more tackier, is what it'll be, because of its jagged design, because of its very, 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 I'd say already dated.
You gotta think,
look.
like, what, in 15 years, when there's, like, ones of, like, 80-something thousand miles on them, and the battery packs start to die, they're just gonna be dumped for bottom value. Like, there's gonna be ones for, like, 30 grand with dead batteries.
Yeah.
Which, I mean...
At least they're trying EVs, I guess. Again, it's like maybe I give them the benefit of the doubt.
It's
or
the
hybrid or whatever
of an EV without any of the benefits.
Yeah.
You get the weight and the complexity.
And to replace the Aventador, like one of the like most iconic Lamborghinis, go with something simpler. Go with something like tried and tested. You know, something that works. I mean, I guess it's the front of a Huracan, right? but the back of like I'm getting almost Senna from this, but I think that's the angles. Oh no, it does. It's got like a slightly up thing going back into the.
It's not long enough to be the Senna.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's an automatic spoiler too, because it looks separated from the rest of it. I wouldn't be surprised if that's an automatic lift top of
spoiler,
the top of the rear bumper lifts up kind of spoiler. I can you know what it reminds me of? I've got it. The fake thing that didn't really exist that jumped between a building in Fast and Furious. I
got jump and then you cut out.
the car that secretly doesn't exist or whatever that jumped through the buildings in Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah,
that thing is what it looks like.
Lycan Hypersport.
Lycan Hypersport. That's what it looks like to me. Lycan Hypersport. Am I going crazy or am I going crazy? It's got that like sloped inwards design. The Lycan's a bit thinner. If the Lycan was a bit flatter. What does the rear of the Lycan look like? Okay, the rear's... God, the Lycan is a real cartoon car.
It really is.
Okay, not as much, but in my head with what memory I had of the Lycan, it's got that, like, sloped-in design. I know it looks like something I recognize. Like, maybe it's just like a... yeah, it's just bad. It's just the bad things within my head is what it looks like. Again, the front, it's just a Huracan. If you said that's a new Huracan, I'd say, oh, yeah, okay, sure, yeah. Like, that's just a Huracan, is what that is. And it's a long-backed Huracan. Yeah. A really wide one.
Yeah, that's also just going to be a lot worse.
It's also going to be worse, yeah, that's the issue. And apparently, well, okay, where did I get this breaking down from? Because, so spy photos, Aventador replacement breaks down. So that's where these photos are from. Oh, we've got a look from the front. And, yup, it's a Huracan.
From that angle, it just looks like a Huracan.
It's a Huracan with a... It's a Huracan, but it's got like an attachment at the back. Like, it's just like, you know what it looks like? It looks like it's a toy where you'd press a button at the back and a Huracan would launch out of the back compartment. Like, if that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of Gallardo, I think, but that's just because the lights are covered up.
Yeah, I think it's the really short, like, square front of it looks sort of Gallardo-ish.
Yeah. But God, they've got spy
it looks really back-heavy for some reason.
Yeah. I want to say it really is just a long-backed Gallardo. Like, it's Gallardo on the front. I don't know, like Sesto on the back. I can't think of it. Like something like that.
It's really weird, and I don't see it doing as well as the Aventador.
Exhaust. Exactly right. I just don't think it's got the versatility of it, right? Being simple, etc. It's got very the exhaust not being at the bottom is hit or miss, I think. And I think this one might be a miss. It's
a 675 LT? No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was yet to be named publicly. Will borrow much of its design from the Trezzo. This concept, which I guess makes sense because it's got the going inwards.
Doesn't look anything like that. What did they squid it and hold it 3 miles away and like draw that? Like,
yeah.
They had they had like a textured version, like, I don't know, draw what you feel, and they came out with this.
So, also from Road and Track on September 22nd, 2022. Was this before the podcast? Is that why we haven't talked about this? This must have been before the podcast then.
Had to have been.
Yeah, so we first saw the Aventador replacement back in December, but, December of, like, okay. But back then, it was wearing a lot more camouflage, judging by the spy photos shots of the car closer to final product, only hidden by a funky camouflage wrap and a pair of fake taillight stickers. So, other than this, I think what happened recently wasn't these photos, was the schematics leaked, was what happened recently then.
What's the point of schematics leaking if you could see the full car?
Exactly right. Well, I mean, I guess they're spotted or spotted or whatever, right? I mean, how long till GTA takes those schematics and adds it to GTA? Oh, no! Oh, no! Yeah. How long till GTA takes those exact schematics and then it's the Pavista, the Pavista Aventador, whatever, right? Oh, dear, no. Oh, that's terrible. Because they did that with the Countach too, right? Like the Countach, just had a concept image. and then it was in GTA within like a week.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny, to be honest.
It's impressive.
It really is. It really is. Like, this car is... Again, the more you get to the front, the more it's just an Aventador. It's got a few jagged edges, right? It's like oh no, sorry, a Hurricane is what I meant, right? It's like an Aventador. It's like a Hurricane cosplaying as an Aventador. That's what it feels like from the front, at least.
I just don't like it.
Yeah. Is there a chance it does sell well? You know what? The rear is the one thing putting me off it selling well. I just think that's too hit
I
or
don't
miss.
think it's going to sell nearly as well as Guido and Hurricane.
Yeah, I think the
Or
front...
Aventador.
The front could sell, maybe. I think the back's too hit or miss. I think they haven't gone.
Well, it's going to cost a fortune. Like,
that
I don't
too,
see
right? Yeah, but I mean, the Aventador probably did at launch as well, right? I assume the Aventador wasn't cheap at launch.
It's a lot more complex than the Aventador.
True, yeah. But
I don't think this is going to do very well.
I mean, I guess we'll see, right? So, not only are the schematics leaked now, but I guess it must... What's your predictions on when this comes out, then?
Next year.
Next year. That'd be cool to see, I guess, right? So...
I mean, they have running a driving prototype. Like,
Yeah, and that was September of last year that they had that, and now...
Well, yeah, but it's finished. Like, it's...
Schematics have gotten out, like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
It's just how quickly they get it through testing and
if they
regulations
can
and stuff.
really speed run it, we might see a show version at some expo or whatever this year, I reckon. If not, like, end of the year, some kind of, like... well, look, the new Aventador, look, it's crazy, isn't it? Woo, yippee, right? We might get one of those at, what are the car shows? We're actually going to be talking about all the car shows this year. I think he's disconnected, is what happened there. I think he has. Well, it's just me, so you know what? From that, we'll go into the gaming segment of the podcast while Josh reconnects. So, this week in gaming... this week in gaming, I suppose. So, one, I need to actually... You know what I'm thinking, by the way, boys? You know what I'm thinking, by the way, podcast listeners? One, I'm thinking, why haven't you left a like yet? Why haven't you liked the podcast? Like the podcast, okay? Share the podcast with your mates. Tweet about it, because there's not really any other way podcasts grow. And this is the biggest, as voted by the Stick Drift Awards, the biggest podcast of 2023. Based. A true statement. But yeah, so I forget what I was about to actually say. I went on the why haven't you liked the podcast tangent. What I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna pay for like a voiceover, like a voice actor to go the gaming segment, or like a more fun voice actor to do like Motorsports Monday. The segment filmed exclusively on a Saturday and uploaded on a Sunday, which I know this episode's late. Don't quote me on it, right? It's whatever. In the gaming segment, so I'm gonna get the gaming segment riffs done. The Crew 2 enters its first week the Blizzard Rush update, bringing back a bunch of cars, like the exclusive Wasp, a couple of police cars off-road, and as well as being in the Rabbids Summit currently, with the rewards being a half-legendary set, the Ford F-150 Raptor, and the Chilling Rabbids tire. The entire summit is based on the adjacent Ubisoft IP, the Raving Rabbids, with collaborations in the store too. We've also got, on top of that, coming up next week, the Proto Hup 1 Clumsy Edition. Oh, there he is. I'm in the gaming segment now. You were frozen for a bit, so
Skype would fan moment.
So the Proto Hup 1 Clumsy Edition releases next week. The reviews on this update have been so far better than the last. However, still complaints on the issue of it being rather stale.
Rather stale. Two shop cars.
Two shop cars
that no one cares about.
They've injected whatever's everywhere else, right? Bringing back the police cars and bringing back summit cars. That's where they're... God, the game feels really end of life. Like, where now
it really is. Two shop cars for 2 months. Like, a car a month. and
Yeah.
5 events on launch, and that's it. Like, that's
So,
outrageous.
this update has released for the next 8 weeks. We're going to be in this update, and also massive, oh, really should have put this in the main segment, so I guess remind me, and I will talk about this on the next episode of the podcast as a main segment, but big news on release dates for the Crew 3. Interesting things on Unbound this week, as well as the last week, as the podcast took that 2-week little gap there. Unbound has tanked so hard recently that there is actually more people playing Heat right now than there is playing Unbound. The exact reason on that, whether better game, more enjoyable game, nothing left to do in Unbound,
the public
or
seem to enjoy it more.
mods, is there's some, for whatever reason it may be, it does seem that people are playing Heat more. Live on stream, I asked people, which, by the way, if you're into racing games in any degree, check out my channel, link in the description, check out Josh too. Not that he does much. But, yeah, so check out there. But on stream, I gave it a shot because I was surprised by it, because I really like Unbound, and I really kind of don't like Heat. And I asked, I was like, so boys, genuinely, right now, what do you think? What do you think? Which is better, Heat or Unbound? And almost everyone, I think it took like 30, 40, 50 people, like the 30 people saying Heat for one guy to go, well, I prefer Unbound, right? Like, it seems like so, it's crazy how much Unbound has tanked in favor. Because when it came out, I didn't think it was that negative, the response to it.
Well, I mean, all the good things about it were the story.
Yeah, the story.
Once you finish the story, what is there to do?
Yeah, the art style was hit or miss.
Because
so
the online is still
the
unfinished.
online was terrible.
And Unbound.
But oh wait, they've only got wait, they've only got 9 days left to deliver this update in January that they promised, right? They said January would be their first update, right? Am I misquoting that, or was it not an exact tweet that was, our first free update will be January? Because I think it was.
So.
Yeah.
I think.
So, well,
when is Forza's next expansion? Like, where has that been? They had nothing about that.
There's an exact seasonal number on it, but the issue is I don't know what seasonal they're on.
They're on one of them.
It's like seasonal 17 or seasonal 19 is when it's going to happen, but again, I don't know what seasonal they're on right now is the issue. But speaking of Forza, what seasonal are they on is the issue.
Who knows? I went on there the other day and there was cars.
Something to do with
There's
bad
3
car.
Renaults for 3
Renaults.
weeks. You got 2 Renault Clios and a Megane. So.
Let me look through the old racing game news section of the little feed we have. Of course, the Crew 2 actually had their competition recently, which I was a part of. 8 creators go head-to-head to get the best time in one of the new races to win money for their audience. Next week, I'll be doing a giveaway on the podcast for one of those codes. The results were Sir Fixaphone first, Motor Games in second, SidWaj in third. And that's me! Whoa! So, when's the last Forza bit of news here? Unleash true hypercar power in the 2019 Bugatti Devo. Forza official announcements. Autumn arrives in beautiful historic Britain. They didn't have the Devo already? I swear they had the Devo already. I've driven the Devo. What do they mean, the Devo? Festival playlist. Steam powered. Wait, is there actually a way I can see the festival playlist through Steam? Nope. Hey, the 2009 Vauxhall Corsa VXR though. Let's go. Josh? We've lost him again! Oh, you know what? His Wi-Fi's always been bad, but it's funny when it happens at unfortunate times like these. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on Forza. Maybe I should log into Forza more. I need to get back on my wheel gameplay channel. I really have lost motivation. It really, really, really sucks and I hate it, but I've lost motivation on the wheel gameplay channel. It sucks and I hate it, but I will be getting back to that. The Crew 2 also has a bundle related to Rabbids. CarX is CarXing. More delays on CarX Street, which is baffling because the game is out on mobile. Just port the mobile version. In my head, the only thing they could be having issues with is the actual, like, the software just not working on PC, which I think there's more inherent issues at that point, right? So yeah, CarX Street, bigger and bigger delays, which always sucks. Gran Turismo, did they do a thing recently? Obviously, they got the new Ferrari, which what even happened with that? What did they just get a new Ferrari? No Hezi seems to be making a big old resurgence. I'm probably gonna be hopping on No Hezi too, not for a video, maybe just for the wheel channel. Other than that, yeah. So Forza. Oh, and Motorsports getting its first trailer. Motorsports is getting its first trailer soon, so that will be really cool to talk about on the podcast. That'll be really good. And I would take it away to Josh for Motorsports Monday, the segment filmed exclusively on a Saturday and uploaded on a Sunday. Oh, he's back! He's come back just for Motorsports Monday, the segment filmed exclusively on a Saturday. And oh wait, he's gone. He's managed to. He's not in the call anymore. He's So yeah. I suppose, you know what? We'll call that it for the Stick Drift podcast. It's a bit of an abrupt end. Oh, he's back. He's back. Whoa.
This time.
Well, you know what? If there isn't anything justifiable to talk about on Motorsports Monday, which there might be.
Williams got a new team principal.
Oh, did they?
They've Golf spot. I don't know if this is confirmed or not. Yeah, it might still be allegedly. But apparently, Golf is sponsoring them, like
they need
the livery.
Racer still, right? Though that's the issue, right?
No, they got Sargent. They got Logan Sargent.
Oh, they got a Latifi replacement, I guess already, right?
A little Latifi replacement, yeah. An American. I think he finished like fourth.
Yeah.
In F2, so
he will.
I don't expect anything higher than a 15th place finish next year.
I don't expect anything higher than Latifi, because that wouldn't be possible.
I mean, he did qualify like. I don't know. He done something.
So on that, given the little gap of time we have before you get nuked again, that's about it for the Stick Drift podcast. Hope you boys did enjoy this episode of the Stick Drift podcast. Leave a like. Make sure you leave a like. Leave a comment.
Subscribe.
Josh, give them something to comment if they've watched this long.
Comment Latifi real question mark.
There you go. So, comment that if you watched down this long. Leave a like on the podcast. Share the podcast. Tweet about. Let people know, because that's mainly the way podcasts grow, is through sharing, etc. We will see you boys next week with all the topics that we have then. Or maybe we won't, because maybe we're all sick of you already. Yeah. See you boys next time.
Yeah, I don't subscribe if I were you.
Exactly. In